291 to 204. Jim, they're out in the front yard. Let's do it right now, Jim. They're coming out. Okay, out of the car. Let's see your hands. Come on, let's move. Out.
For the South Florida police fighting the war against the Colombian narcotic traffickers and assassins, there are many successes. But the victories are clearly overshadowed by a realization the war itself is being lost. They are fighting a $7 billion illegal drug industry, and the shadowy Colombian criminals have more money, more manpower, better radios, faster cars, and bigger guns than the police.
We're losing the battle. I mean, we're just flat out losing.
They're getting better at it.
Dade County's losing, Miami's losing.
Right now, no question, hands down, they're definitely winning the war.
The private citizen is going to be the loser.
For the police, fighting the Colombian traffickers is almost a schizophrenic business, with sheer boredom and frustration on days-long surveillance details being shattered by heart-pounding fear at the time of an arrest.
We went up to just interview some people that we thought may be involved in a kidnapping, announced ourselves as police officers, and they opened up fire from within the house.
The Colombian assassins are partial to the Mach 10 machine gun, which, because of its inaccuracy, is especially dangerous to innocent bystanders. When assassins killed Oscar Piedrahita, they put more bullets in his garage door than they put in him.
I'd only seen 2 or 3 machine guns in the 10 years prior to coming down here. It seems like I see one a week in this town.
The traffickers have shown they will shoot anyone, even a 2-year-old boy. And the police know in the drug trade there are no rules against shooting a cop.
What I've got is a bulletproof vest that I purchased. It's something that you'd find probably in Vietnam.
If we were to get a couple of uniform units and we were to block the street so we can avoid any kind of traffic.
It is Friday night in Dade County. Tactical police, homicide detectives, and DEA agents are planning to crash a debutante party. The reason is the young girl's father is Ramon Ruiz, also known as Loco Martel, a Colombian fugitive wanted in connection with a machine gun shootout on the Florida Turnpike. The chase ended with police finding the body of a murder victim in one of the cars. Tonight, police have been told Loco will arrive to dance with his daughter, and they hope to cut in.
Harry eyeballed them through the binoculars. The Chevette pulled up right to the front porch. There was a bunch of cars parked. It looks like they left the slot intentionally for it, and it pulled up real close to the door there, and that's when the 3 got out.
At about 11 o'clock, police think they've spotted Loco and another man suspected of a double homicide. They move in. No shots are fired and no one is hurt. But Loco and the other man are not here. Either they never arrived or they slipped away. For police, it was a frustrating night, one of many.
Colombians are very nomadic. They have no roots in the community, and they're very mobile. We've had cases in which, immediately after a homicide, we have responded to a residence in which we know there are suspects or associates of the victim or associates of the suspects, and they have moved within hours after a crime has been committed.
Most of the Colombian drug killings occur in unincorporated Dade County, so the primary task of solving them falls upon the Metro Homicide Unit. Because of our increasing murder rate, each detective has up to 19 cases now. The rate of solving cases is falling from the 80 to 90% range in the 1970s to about 50% in 1982.
Well, out of our drug-related cases, I would say maybe 10% get solved. Out of our total caseload, our drug-related cases are reaching somewhere in the nature of 20 to 40%.
In the cases involving Colombians, the primary reason for the low solve rate is police usually have no idea who the Colombians are. Invariably, they are here with phony ID, frequently posing as Puerto Ricans. Sometimes detectives can't even identify the victims, which hampers greatly the search for the killers.
A fairly typical thing, for instance, would be a Cadillac pulls off the side of the road, takes a large box out of its trunk and puts it on the side of the road and drives off. And inside the box, this person has been shot and tied up and placed in plastic bags and this type of thing. I think we're seeing an awful lot of that.
Police also have a hard time enticing witnesses and informants to work with them. The aura of terror spread by the traffickers tends to keep everyone quiet.
We get fewer witnesses out of Colombian organizations than we see in most cases that I've worked on.
The Colombian criminal has in Colombia some family members, real family members, that are close to him, and they're hostage to his good behavior. If he comes over on the side of law enforcement to make a deal, or for whatever reason, he can be assured that not only will they try to kill him, but they'll kill all his family members in Colombia.
For the police specializing in narcotics, there are similar frustrations. Their biggest complaint is the lack of manpower. The dope dealers love it.
Oh, the drug dealers are winning. You can't. It's not a war. They need 10 times the agents they have now to have a war. The drug dealers have they're the top. They got it. They got it made.
In times past, I think we had more people in 1972 than we got right now.
Agency-wide, that we could use and put to work very effectively another 600 to 700 agents.
When you're dealing with bad guys, they have no budgets, they have no laws, they have no rules, so right off the bat they're ahead of the game.
For the police, however, there are a lot of rules, and usually in drug cases, the questions in court deal less with the facts of the case, more with police conduct. A good defense lawyer knows it is best to keep the jury's mind off the issue at hand.
For them to make an arrest, they have to dot all their I's and cross their T's. They have to be very exact. The drug smuggler has it on their side. I mean, you can get busted for smuggling drugs and then get off it because they made a small mistake.
They may not be able to say very much in English, but they'll know how to say, I want an attorney, or I don't know.
Police say the biggest problem, however, is the Colombian traffickers have so much money they can easily make bond after being arrested. In the case of cocaine dealer Martha Libia Cardona, the prosecutor begged a federal judge not to lower her $5 million bond.
The government's just concerned that if she makes the bond that she's going to flee the country and she's not going to appear for trial.
The testimony that you heard is just basically a scare tactic to get the judge not to lower the bond.
The defense attorney won out. Cardona was freed on bond, lowered to $1 million. She and two sisters fled to Colombia and are now back in the cocaine business, thumbing their noses at the exasperated police.
The amount of money that these people generate, $1 million a day that any one group launders through banks in South Florida, makes it very easy for them to consider bail as a cost of doing business.
Police have also found with so much money floating around the drug trade, there have been breaches in their own security. It is not infrequent for officers and support personnel to be accused of being bought off.
Personally, the only people that I've ever paid off in South Florida was to find out about the customs airplane. You'd pay off the people that maintain the airplane, so they would tell you when the airplane was down for maintenance, and then you could run an airplane in. As far as the Drug Enforcement Administration goes, you can get certain documents out of their files if you pay the right people, but nothing in this world is sacred.
With all the problems, what keeps the individual officers going? Certainly it's not the money, the frustration, or the high divorce rate.
It's just a sense of responsibility, maybe a hatred. You get to hate the dope dealers. And when you do finally make a case, you make a seizure, everybody feels good about it.
Tomorrow, our final report. We ask what happens if the Colombian drug war is allowed to go on, and we learn to what degree it is spreading.
We've got to have the President of the United States say that the fight on drugs is as important and ranks with Mideast peace, strategic arms limitation. We've got to set the priority on it.
We will also examine some innovative law enforcement, which is showing signs of success, including the arrest of a suspected multimillionaire assassin and trafficker. And we will examine the most disturbing point of all, our fellow citizens who invite the Colombian assassins into our own backyard.
I think the unfortunate thing about cocaine is that it's white. It's so antiseptic looking. I mean, you put it on a mirror, and it really looks clean, and it's very, very antiseptic. Unfortunately, the American public looked at it close enough. I mean, it would be like Lady Macbeth's palms. There's blood all over it.
Mark Potter, Newswatch 10.